Yo, what is good? Hopefully you're having a good day. So I just want to talk about technology. Technology, yeah. It's rooted in this day and age. It is everywhere. So I want to talk about how technology is a powerful tool, because obviously it is a very powerful tool, and that we are in a way mistaking it as a companion rather than a tool. So of course technology is a very powerful tool in advancing society and in a way connecting us a lot more. That can be both a blessing and a curse. But just like our mind, it's a tool. It's like a very sharp knife. It can be used to help us to make things easier and connect us more easily, and it's beautiful. Like, technology is amazing, and what it's done for us and how it connects us so easily, and how we can connect to people across the world. It's amazing. But slowly as technology rises and it advances, it's slowly become a companion for many. And a companion meaning something that in a way is stuck by our side, and it's almost like, it's a companion, so it's something that's always there with you, but it's not necessarily a companion that is always for your best interest. A lot of the times, just like any companion, you don't want a companion to be by your side 24/7. And a lot of the time that's what it is. Like, we're just overusing it. And you see with kids these days, you see that technology is the main companion for them, and it's dangerous. It's sad to see. Like, the last thing I would want from my kid is them being able to sit and play on an iPad before they can talk. Like, it's unbelievable. I just see it as just like parents are letting the kids have more of a companionship with their devices than they do with their parents. It's unbelievable. It's like, what are you doing to your kids? Like, seriously. Like, and what are these kids gonna grow up to be like when their companions were more a device than they were their parents? Like, it's just creating people that are just so out of their own experience, because when you've always got that companion by your side, you're not, it's just like a constant distraction. You don't have that time to yourself to actually You know, it's like parents will give these kids iPads to when they start whinging and they're like, and they have an outburst. What is that teaching them? It's teaching them that when they've got something going on emotionally, they reach straight for that companion, and it's dangerous. We should be taught to process our emotions and deal things within ourselves before reaching out to something like technology to fix things, because it doesn't fix things. It's a tool. It's used for helping us in specific ways, and it's a tool. It should not be a companion. It should not be something that we're reliant on. And in this day and age, we are overly reliant on technology, and it is taking away people's power, and it is keeping people in a low vibrational state, in unconscious tendencies, and it just saps people's power. It takes away people's power. And this doesn't have to be just kids on iPads. Like, it's, the news, like, it's like just TV in general. Like, it's okay to watch TV, I get that, it's cool. Like, it's just when it becomes a companion rather than like the rare occasional, like, well, it doesn't have to be rare, but the occasional entertainment, and you're actually using it for something and not just like overly consuming and letting it numb you. There's got to be that balance where there's that healthy balance, and it's this scales are completely tipped. There's in most people there's not that balance. There's that overconsumption, and that we're living in a dopamine world where we're just flooding ourselves with dopamine. And I've been there. I'm a Gen Z, mate. Like, I grew up with a computer. I grew up with a PlayStation. I grew up with a Nintendo DS. I grew up with iPods. I grew up with all that jazz. Like, I spent so much time on my computer, it's not even funny, right? And the access of information I had was not what a child should have, right? The things that you could access. And this day and age, it's just more and more. The amount, like, the ease of access of information to young minds is scary. It's really brainwashing our youth. So it's just important to see where you're putting your energies, and especially if you have kids, what you're putting in their young minds, because it's so important at such a young age that's where the brain is forming. That's where your sense of self is forming. When you're just flooding it with a bunch of noise and nonsense, and it's just unnatural. It's unnatural, and it's showing in the world of what people that grew up with this. It's showing how they turn out in their older days, and it's very dysfunctional. And I've seen that in myself, but it took me to all that conditioning that built up through that technology and overconsumption, and just a bunch of conditioning put inside of me. It took me to, in a way, it was a blessing, because it forced me to really work on that conditioning and really release it, and take it out of my life and take it out of my experience, and live a life more rooted in harmony, and getting out in nature, and really respecting my body, and really putting boundaries up of what I put in my space. Because with technology, a lot of the time there's no boundaries as to what we put in our minds and our experience. There's just an overconsumption, and when there is an overconsumption, it just perpetuates. There's like, it just keeps going on and on and on, and it just makes that void. And I've been there, that void of just emptiness. And then where do you reach out of that emptiness? Where do you reach out of that lack? You reach for more. You seek more, because you feel you don't have enough. And then you're in that cycle, you're in that constant loop. And that loop is profound, because for a lot of people it's forcing them to pull themselves out of that. And for a lot, it's a great lesson. Not that everyone learns from it in their lifetime, of course, but even just experiencing it, it's a soul lesson that we're always learning from. So, but if you can choose to make the stand to pull yourself out of that loop and not over consume, especially like technology, and this can correlate to all aspects of your life. It doesn't just have to be technology. We're using a lot of tools as companions that aren't just technology, but technology is very, it's a lot. It's a lot. And with AI now, it's, it's like, that's the ultimate companion. Like, not really, that's not truly the ultimate companion, but it's so powerful in that it can just give people that companion, and it's not healthy whatsoever. Especially when we're, forming relationships with, dependent relationships on technology and AI, and we're just bringing ourselves down that path of illusion and fogginess and emptiness, and it's not healthy. So, but like, that's not to say to just cut technology out. It's so powerful, and of course it runs the world, so in a way you can't necessarily just pull yourself out of it completely, unless you want to just go completely off grid. But even then, in this day and age, for the most part, you kind of, need to use it. But that's it, it's a tool. Like, we can use it as a tool. It's just, when you start to use it as a companion and you overuse it and create that dependent relationship on it, you give power to that over you, and you're really out of your power. So yeah, and it's important, like, if you do want to limit your use on technology, and you've got to start replacing your time with technology with other things, like getting out in nature and doing things that you enjoy truly, and things that aren't just dopamine inducing, doing things that are more serene, like coming out in nature, going to a waterfall or something, or like even just going for a drive, or just anything, like working out, playing sport, or even just sitting with yourself, because in this day and age, I say that a lot, it's like, man, kids just aren't giving themselves that time to sit with themselves, and that's so important to understand this body and the complexity of this body and our experience, because a lot of the time we're diminishing our experience and who we are, and we're not realizing the depths of life and what we are as beings. Like, this experience is so profound, and we're diminishing that. We're not seeing the depth of it. We're just staying on the surface level, and it's very important to just, like, even if it's 5 minutes, just close your eyes, give yourself that time to yourself, and see what needs to be felt within yourself, and what needs to be, because even just 5 minutes of just sitting there and not doing anything, it gives you that time to relax and settle down. Because when we're always distracting and always got stuff going on, it's just, we're not allowing that space for things to work out, and then we're just suppressing things and penting up things, and that's how that stress builds up, that's how that anxiety builds up, because we're not allowing things to work through ourselves. We're not giving our mind and our emotions time by themselves to work out. We're just constantly distracting ourselves, flooding ourselves with information and distracting ourselves. And that's why we're in the age of anxiety and fear and depression, because we're not allowing ourselves that time to process things. And especially with kids, like, growing up with such a heavy companionship with technology and devices, they're always distracting, they're always got information, and then they're not taught to go within and give themselves that space. Even at school, you're not taught that. We're not taught the most fundamental thing, is how to process this body and everything that comes with it. Like, that's what we should be taught early. We should be taught how to regulate ourselves, how to give ourselves time, how to respect our body, not just given mental structures and like given just information and how to go about the world. It's more than that. It's about how to go about yourself, because we're so complex, and we have a lot that we need to understand about ourselves, and we can't just go about the world and think that we've got to just accomplish. It's so much more than that. Like, our experience is so much more than just accomplishing worldly, material goods and worldly desires and materialistic things. It's way more than that. We're so complex, and we're not giving respect for that. We're not respecting that. So give yourself the respect, and give your body and your experience and your soul that respect that it needs, that time and that respect that it needs, and not just distracting all the time. You need that time to yourself. Alright, I think this is a pretty long video. I don't know who's gonna watch this. 20 minutes. Man, the TikTok brain rot. I don't think any TikTok kids are gonna be watching this video. It'll probably trigger them too much. I don't think. If you've made it this far, let me know, because I'm proud of you, dead set. If anyone makes it this far in the video, give me a butterfly in the comments. Give me a butterfly in the comments, because it's rare, man. It's rare that anyone would make it this far with my ramblings. Especially with people, no one wants to see most people don't want to see, you know, see this side of things, and really, most people just don't care about bettering themselves, or, you know, it's just about more and more information, and, you know, who's better, and you know, just the whole game of society, of social media, and the ego game. So hey, if you've made it this far, you're probably on the path of liberating yourself, so give yourself a pat on the back. I really hope that someone's made it this far in the video, because that just shows me that my words actually mean something to someone. So give me a butterfly, please, in the comments. One of my 12 subscribers. I'm in a tree, by the way, you probably noticed. I'm just chilling, man. I'm just chilling, just slowing down, just going at the speed of a tree. I know, I'm a weird one. Alright, this has gone on long enough. It's probably about 20 minutes or something. Alright, enough rambling. Catch you later. Hopefully you're having a good day. Alright, cheers, bye.